I think bon dia is in order. Satsrikal for the rest. So great to be here in beautiful Brampton at one of our favorite bakeries. Martin Medeiros, our candidate in this area, raves about this bakery each and every day when I see him. He's always here getting his espresso and his, of course, custard cups. It's beautiful bakeries like this one. I want to thank Susanna right here and her beautiful husband, Claudia, Tino, for allowing us to be here today. It is exactly these kinds of family-run businesses that drive our economy, and what a wonderful community hub it is as well. So here we are. I think yesterday was very revealing. Doug Ford lost his reason for an election. So I'd like to understand, Doug, why did you call this election? What is your motivation behind it? The people of Ontario want to know why you called an unnecessary, expensive election in the middle of the winter when you should be at your desk working to protect the people of Ontario, working to provide the basics for them. I will say I have a few ideas what this election is about. It's about Doug Ford clinging to power for 4 more years. It's about outrunning an RCMP investigation. But I have a few ideas about what it should be about. And that's the people of Ontario, protecting our province, diversifying our economy, standing up and protecting our healthcare system, which has been failing under his watch. It's also about ensuring that every single Ontarian has access to a family doctor, because we know right now 2.5 million Ontarians are without a family doctor. How many in Brampton? How many?
Average 720 per 100,000.
How many people without a family doc? Anyone know?
30,000 roughly in Mississauga, Malton.
Yeah. How many in Brampton? Yeah. So we're just counting up how many people right here in the beautiful city of Brampton are without a family doctor. So that's what I think this election is about. The failure of Doug Ford, who said he would end hallway medicine, but he didn't get it done. He said he'd cut our taxes. He didn't get it done. He said he'd build housing, and he didn't get it done. So let's get something right. Let's invest in our healthcare system and ensure that everyone in this province has access to a family doctor. That is our pledge over the next 4 years. You can count on it. Vote for a government that will ensure that you have access to a family doctor. Thank you, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Okay, sorry folks, just gonna use the mic over here so everyone can hear. Sure, I can pass it over to you after, no problem, no worries. Okay, so please state your name and outlet, and 1 question, 1 follow-up, please. Awesome, we'll get it over to you as well.
Hi, Bonnie. Jack Allen from the Trillium. We had a story this morning. Former Ford government staffers are denying an accusation of fraud after a lawsuit alleged that they agreed to rezone land using back-channel contacts but failed to follow through. So just hoping to get your reaction to that story, and does anything need to change in Ontario when it comes to lobbying or land use policies?
Yeah, the government needs to change. This is just another example of shady deals under the Ford government. You know, there is what I call a tone at the top, where a leader doesn't tolerate bad behavior of his staff, that doesn't engage in enterprises, in practices that do not withstand the smell test. There is a lack of integrity when we look at those deals, and we're going to investigate all those shady deals, starting with the $8 billion Greenbelt scandal, looking at the Service Ontario contracts, looking at the Therma Spa. These are billions of dollars of waste of money undertaken by the Ford government. Shady deals that clearly allegedly implicate some of his staff members. So in a Crombie government, I wouldn't have any tolerance for any of my staff members undertaking shady negotiations as a sideline. I would put an end to it. Now, these are allegations. I understand. They have to be brought forward to the courts. I haven't read all the articles and don't hear all the information, but it doesn't surprise me because, of course, this is a government that is being investigated for chopping up the Greenbelt and selling it off to the highest bidder for $8 billion. Thank you.
Just wanted to get your reaction as well to Doug Ford's hot mic comments the other night about U.S. President Donald Trump.
So what was revealed to us yesterday is that Doug Ford always wanted Donald Trump to win. Now, let that sink in for a moment. Donald Trump threatened us, threatened our economy, threatened to impose punitive tariffs that would hurt us, and that's the guy that Doug Ford wanted to support. That's simply outrageous. He doesn't have the best interests of Ontario in his heart, and I think that statement, caught on a hot mic when he didn't know other people could be listening, shows his true character. Somehow there was a benefit in it for him if Donald Trump would succeed, even if it meant that it would hurt Ontario and our economy through punitive tariffs. That's the character of this Premier.
Hey, good morning. Man Hamidi with the Canadian Press. Now that the tariffs threat is paused for a month, do you think we should be talking more about like local provincial issues, or is the threat of tariffs still the main issue in Ontario election?
So I think we're all breathing a sigh of relief that we have a 1-month reprieve, and there will be negotiations in the background by the federal government who are active on the trade negotiations. But this is also a reckoning for the Ford government. Let's be very clear. This election, unnecessary as it is and costly as it is, was never really about tariffs. It was a manipulation. It was opportunistic because Doug Ford doesn't want to be held accountable for his record here in Ontario. It's a failed record. We see unemployment rates higher than they've been in a decade, the highest budget ever, the highest deficit ever, jobs leaving this province, 2.5 million people without a family doctor, our healthcare system crumbling, our schools crumbling, highest taxation rates possible. A failure, an abject failure to build housing. Doug Ford said he would end hallway medicine. He didn't get it done. He said he would lower our taxes. He didn't get it done. He said he'd build housing. He didn't get it done. But we will. And this is an opportunity to fix what is so important to all of us, our public health care system. Let's get them on the record. Let's get them committed to investing in our health care system so that it stays strong and people have access to treatment when they need it. Not 11,000 people dying because they didn't get the care and the treatment that they needed. 2.5 million people being without a family doctor. Those are the issues that Ontarians are concerned about today.
So basically you're saying, I just need you to clarify, you're saying that voters in Ontario want to hear more about issues like healthcare and, you know, housing and local stuff, not like tariffs and threats and local long-term conflicts with...
I ask you, this is what I hear, and I know you hear it at the door. First, people are angry. Why is there an election? Why should there be an election? Why isn't the Premier hard at work at his desk protecting jobs, preparing us for what could be coming? The second question is your life more affordable today than it was before Doug Ford? And the answer is clearly no. And that's what people are worried about. Paying their bills, paying their rent, buying groceries, all in the same month. We're a government that will cut taxes, cut small business taxes for places like this beautiful bakery right here in beautiful Brampton. We'll cut small business taxes. We'll cut personal income taxes, and we'll take the HST off your home heating and hydro. And we have found a way by eliminating those hidden charges, those hidden taxes on housing to make it cheaper to build, and we'll lower the price by $170,000.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Hamza. I'm from The Pointer. So my question is, we have been informed that Brampton City Hall staff has been used against you in the campaign. The City Hall, publicly funded City Hall staff is going in the campaign of Sylvia. So would you support an investigation on that matter, or Election Ontario should be notified about this?
I don't have any information, but clearly if City Hall resources are being used in an election campaign, that must be investigated, yes. Now, if these people are doing it volunteering part-time, but they're City Hall resources, if they're being abused, then yes, that must be investigated.
There was email to staff to come there and join the Doug Ford when he came last week.
Thanks. Bonnie, now that the tariffs have been paused, how will that change?
As I said, I think this issue has been a reckoning that our economy is out of control, that this premier hasn't protected our industries, hasn't created jobs, hasn't worked to diversify our trading partners or brought investment into our province to create jobs. Jobs are leaving the province. We have one of the highest unemployment rates that we've had in a decade. But now people are wondering why the election was called. What is the reason this election was called? We need to hold Doug Ford accountable for his record, his failed record, particularly in healthcare, where we see that 2.5 million people don't have access to a family doctor, that 11,000 people died while waiting for care, waiting for surgery, waiting for treatment. The 2,000 people are being treated in a hallway, a doorway, or in an auditorium. This is from a premier who said he would end hallway medicine 7 years ago, and the situation has only gotten worse. So this is an opportunity for us to say, the excuse you gave for calling this election was a fake. Now, let's talk about the real issues the people of Ontario are concerned about: access to health care, affordability, cutting taxes and homes, and investing in education and health care.
But for the past month, everybody's been hearing about these tariff threats. Now that they're gone, do you think you can get the voters to think about any other issue?
I think this is a reset. This is an opportunity for people to focus on what these real issues are. And let me pause again and say, Doug Ford wanted Donald Trump to win. We have to think about that for a moment. Why would he want a president who threatened to impose punitive tariffs and cause a trade war with the United States? They're one of their our largest trading partners. Why would he want that guy to win? Clearly it was in his own self-interest, even though it was clearly not in the interests of the people of Ontario. And the people need to think about that. Doug Ford doesn't put your interests first. He put his own interests first, as we have seen from calling this unnecessary election. He's not protecting jobs. He wants to protect his own job.
Amazing. I think that's all for media questions today. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all for joining us. Now, everybody, please, we got to have, what do we call them? Nache?
Natas.
Nachos. Nachos and espresso. All right. Thank you all for joining.